Just give me a signal when I got a minute left, because I can go on. Ben, first of all, thanks so much for this invitation, and thank you, everybody, for coming out. I know you could do 100 other things on this evening, but being here and listening to the other side, well, I respect you for that, and Ben, your sense of humor, I think, has won me half over. I hope you don't convert me all the way. And so far, so good. In the spirit of brotherly love, I'd like to start off by making a few concessions in this debate. I concede that the oil sands are not perfect. I concede that we should continue to criticize them, both externally, guys like Ben have an important role, and the oil sands should be self-critical. I think that having a next fuel, a future fuel with lower emissions, that's practical, economical, affordable, I think it's a great idea. I hope it comes soon. I hope we read the paper tomorrow that it's been invented. I would say that I don't think that's going to happen tomorrow, but I do hope it happens soon. I think that we should also agree that and I think you probably would, Ben, that the growth in energy consumption is not in Canada or even the States, where oil use is pretty much flatlined and in fact slightly decreased over the last few years. The growth is in the developing countries like China and India and Brazil. Last year, for the first time ever, more cars were sold in China than in the United States. And they all want to be two-car families. And same in India and the rest of the developing world. And I don't think they're going to take lessons from a bunch of rich white guys in Canada who've been driving cars for 80 years that they have to still get around on foot. 2 billion people in the world don't have power to cook their dinner with. I don't think they're going to take lectures on less energy. And the final thing I think we can agree on, because it's a fact that I don't think you would dispute, Ben, is that the oil sands are pretty much an export industry. We import a lot of oil in Canada, actually. Surprisingly, we import all of Eastern Canada, including Montreal, imports our oil from other countries. That was news to me. But most of the oil sands goes to the States. 1.4 million barrels a day are for the States. And there are plans, I don't know if they'll be executed, Ben, to triple that, to 5 million barrels a day, to the States. Now, why are we exporting to the States and planning to increase it if their fuel is staying stable, their consumption? Well, it's because we're replacing other oil. In fact, until the oil sands came on stream in 2004, the #1 source of U.S. imports was Saudi Arabia. And if you look around the world, oil comes from some pretty nasty places. The top 10 countries ranked by reserves, so that gives you a hint of where oil is going to come from in 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 years. It's not Norway. They're the good guys. They're running out of oil. It's not the UK. Switzerland doesn't have any oil. Our friends and allies don't have any oil. It's the bastards of the world, the dictators, the misogynists, the terrorists. Saudi Arabia. We invented peacekeeping. They invented 9/11. Iran. What are they? 15 out of 19 terrorists on 9/11 came from Saudi Arabia. I agree with you. Boo on that. Iran is building a nuclear bomb. That's what they're doing with their oil. Yeah, shame on them. You know, when Malcolm Ahmadinejad, the Iranian president, came to Columbia University, he was asked a question: how can you treat gays so poorly in Iran? And he gave a very truthful answer. He said, there are no gays in Iran. And you know, he's right. Because when he finds them, he kills them. If you go through the rest of the countries of the world, I think that they're offensive countries. We're the only do-gooder on the list. And so I'd like to put to you the debate, not in terms of an oil company. Pardon me?
Tar sands are an environmental holocaust.
Tar sands are an environmental holocaust. A holocaust killed 6 million Jews. The tar sands have not killed 6 million Jews, but I want to talk to you about 300,000 Darfuris who were murdered. You know, it's true that 2 weeks ago, 230 ducks died when they accidentally landed on the tailings pond. And 2 years ago, 1,600 more. So in the past 3 years, that's coming up on 2,000 ducks. Now, the good old boys in my province kill about 150,000 ducks going hunting. I myself can pack away 50 wings on wings night. But, and ducks in downtown Vancouver flying into plate glass windows die by the thousand every day. I would call those things unfortunate, results of industrial accidents that we should work on. I regard them as legitimate problems. PR embarrassments, yes, they are all those things. But I will not call them a holocaust, sir. Because there are real Holocausts in the world. In Sudan, a new entrant into
Residential
OPEC, 300,000 Darfuris were murdered in Sudan. If you take 300,000 murdered Darfuris, multiplied by 185 ounces of blood in the human body, that works out to 6.5 milliliters of human blood in every damn barrel from Sudan. That is as much blood as is in your thumb or your eye or your toe. So don't you compare 230 dead ducks. Yes, it's an embarrassment. Don't you, sir, say that's a Holocaust, because there are real Holocausts in the world. And when my friend Andrew Nikiforuk, who wrote a critical book of the oil sands, calls us Saudi Alberta, no, don't say that, because there really is a Saudi Arabia. You know, the mayor of Fort McMurray is a young woman named Melissa Blake. It's completely unremarkable in Canada to have a young woman mayor. How many young women mayors are there in Saudi Arabia? There are none. It is against the law. It is against the law to vote if you're a woman. It is against the law to drive if you're a woman. It is against the law to get elective surgery in Saudi Arabia if you are a woman without the permission of your husband. And this is my point. If you give a damn about women's rights, about gay rights, about Aboriginal rights, oil sands being the #1 employer of Aboriginal people in Canada, if you care about peace, if you care about economic justice for the working man, you know what? I love the heckling, and I'll tell you why, Ben.
Let him.
No, I want to close with the heckles, Ben. I want to tell you why I love the heckling.
Sure.
I mean it. You think I'm just making this one up?
believe it.
I'll tell you why I love the heckling. I love the heckling because it proves how free we are. Because if we were in Russia, you wouldn't be heckling me for long. The KGB, the FSB would come in and shut you up. If we were in Venezuela, major oil exporter, you wouldn't be heckling me for long. Chavez's goons would shut you up. I love the fact that Ben is a freaking hero and not in jail. And that's Canada, the fair trade coffee of the world's oil industry. Thank you.